Now your main man just wished many superstars the best on their future endeavors. I fired that ass! And you might have fired that ass too. Now, today, we're going to be talking about TNA. Because if WWE is going to get it, TNA guys are getting the axe too. That's right. I, or in your case, you, have just been put in the position of power in TNA. You are the head booker, head writer, head of creative. You punched Bruce in the mouth and you took his job. You threw Pritchard down the hall and now you're in charge. Who do you keep? Who do you let go? And do you ever let Dixie on camera again? Make your video responses. List your comments below. Feel free to, if you need to leave like 10 comments, because sometimes 500 comments, you can't really do it justice. Do what you need to do. Now we're going to go through and talk about this. Remember, you want to make sure that Panda Energy doesn't go bankrupt over what you're spending here. So you want to go and get rid of people, and you have another group. We're not going to cover that in this video because we're going to go like an hour long if we do all that. But you have a group of talent that you want to bring in. Guys from the indies that may have never been seen. Guys that are old veterans. You might want to bring talkin in. Who knows who you're trying to bring in. But you want to bring some new faces in. You want to circle the talent. The circulation keeps things fresh. Fresh keeps the ratings going up. Your job is to try to get TNA up to a 2.0 normal rating or better. You want to make TNA a legitimate company, and you don't want to do it completely draining the bank. That means you don't have a roster or nothing but world heavyweight champions. You can't pay everybody in TNA $1 million. You don't have that kind of pay. But what are you going to do? Who are you going to bring in? Well, not who you're going to bring in, but who are you going to let go? Because that's what your main man is talking about right now. So, I have in front of me the TNA roster page. First of all, I'm keeping all the aces and ace guys. Some of them are not on this roster. I think only Devon is. I think that is a great angle, one of the better angles TNA's done in a long time. They were completely screwing the angle up. They were booking it very poorly. Remember, guys, heat. Aces and eights should have been destroying people, not getting beat in matches that have Garrett Bischoff on the other side. Yeah, we're going to get to Garrett Bischoff in a minute. You can imagine what I think there. Now, we keep all the aces and ace guys, and we keep Eric Bischoff. I think Eric Bischoff is probably the best heel going in wrestling today. One of the big problems is you don't have any heels. Eric Bischoff, while you may hate him, you don't turn the channel when he's on. You want to see him, particularly if he's got a group of heels around him. As a heel, I see Eric Bischoff with a giant upside for years in the business as a heel manager. Remember, Eric Bischoff can get in the ring and have a match. Now you're like, oh, it does nice. It doesn't have a high work rate. Not supposed to. He's a manager. He can do his kicks and stuff, and it makes him believable enough that you go, oh, maybe Eric Bischoff can pull out the win here. So, I mean, he can have a match against another manager. He can have a match against somebody in the front office, against an old wrestler, and make it believable. Or, that old would get Eric Bischoff for 5 minute stipulation. All that stuff, it gives you more and more and more to work with, more to do. You need managers. I don't know why people have stopped using managers. There's a great reason why you do, particularly at a company like TNA. You bring a manager in, you get heat on the manager, you circulate the talent in and out. Talent comes in with the manager, immediate heat transfers from the manager to the talent. Booking 101. But then again, I guess they don't book anymore. They write, and writers don't know what they're doing. So this is why we have a wrestling that is in a horrible, horrible state of disarray. So let's take a look at the roster. We're going through them alphabetically. Abyss. Oh, you absolutely keep Abyss. Despite the fact he's been there forever. The whole, Joseph Park gimmick, outstanding. The Abyss is one of the better workers. Probably one of the 3 best workers in that company. His psychology is great. He embraces the changes and does his characters differently. And he's kind of Teflon. He can actually get beat by these 180-pound guys and come back, and he's still the monster. That's extraordinarily difficult to do, and certainly not something that the Big Show or Kane have been able to do at all. I think Abyss is a tremendous talent and one of the pillars that you definitely want to keep in that company. Also, I think you keep AJ Styles because he's one of their homegrown guys that has been there forever. AJ Styles is not the guy that you're going to put the belt on and make a giant star. He's really not a world champion level guy. And a real world champion. I mean, you don't go, let's pull them from their prime. Yokozuna, Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, Sergeant Slaughter, Kurt Hennig, and AJ Styles? No, of course not. When you have a real company running, AJ Styles is maybe like a TV champion level guy. A great talent. He can do some things in the ring. Stick work very limited still. Much better than it was, but Alex Silva. Oh yeah, these tough enough kids or whatever the hell, gut check. Almost all of them are gone. Alex Silva immediately creative has nothing for your ass. I guarantee you, he sucks. I don't ever see money in him. There's some guys that can say, well, come back in 5 years. Yeah, Austin Aries. I think he's good, but god damn, he's small. Like, I mean, he's tiny. He's like almost Rey Mysterio small. So it's tough. It's tough for me. Again, I guess you kind of keep him, I guess, with someone like AJ Styles and have them down there, cruiserweight level guys. And the fact he had one world title reign does help his value, I think, overall in TNA. Because oh, he was the champion. It could happen. But not under my watch. No, absolutely not. Bobby Roode, another guy that... Bobby Roode, unfortunately, is one of the guys, his time in TNA is just about done. He really needs to go to WWE. Or if you had other places, anywhere else. He needs to circle around and do some other things. He has a lot of talent. But... Brooke Hogan, I'm actually really liking the Bully Ray storyline. It's the only thing that's ever made me interested in a Brooke Hogan anything. I think she sucks. I think she's happy to put the talent under to get over on people that she shouldn't be. I think she sucks. And Brooke Hogan, I think you suck. But with the Bully Ray deal, it's actually created enough interest in her for me to keep her there. I'd run that angle's course, and she would be fired. Bully Ray, you got to keep him. This guy has improved tremendously. In fact, you might even work him up towards maybe a short run as the TNA champion. He's not a guy that you can have up there for a year-long title run, but he's done tremendous improvements, and you keep him up there for a while. Chavo Guerrero, I do something with him, but I don't like this tag team with him and Hernandez. It's like generic Mexicans. Let's just throw them together. Well, wait, why? That's it. I mean, they're two Mexicans. Put them together a team. You know, if there was a story, if it was built up, maybe. But you know, it's done, and you had to break that team up. I think there's more money in Hernandez as a heel anyway. So I think maybe you turn Hernandez heel on him, have Hernandez just viciously beat him. I mean, Sid Vicious style, like powerbomb him through the break. You know, hit him with 5 border tosses or something. Just destroy him and take Chavo off the air for 3 weeks. Bring him back. Have a brutal feud between those guys. I think that's the way you start kicking off between them. Had no idea Chris Sabin was still there. Haven't seen him in a year. In fact, Alex Shelley is not there apparently. I don't know why you bring Alex Shelley back if you can. He has great upside potential, and that's from somebody who's not like the little guys. Chris Sabin, I think he sucks. He would definitely get the axe. Christian York, I'd give a run to for a little while. He's the same age as I am, and just basically starting in terms of getting any real publicity. So I don't know if he has a huge amount of time to go, but I'd probably keep him there for a year or two as a guy. I'd use him as a guy that gets beat a lot, and every once in a while gets that big upset win. So you never know. He might get a big win on a guy like Bully Ray, and you're like, oh, but he lost 7 matches before that and loses 8 after on TV. Chris Daniels, I would keep. His current gimmick is outstanding. He's the most undervalued guy in that company. I would use him. I'd book him and start pushing him towards the belt. He would need a good 9 months solid pushing on the minimum to get that belt. A storyline being told. I'm not going to go into exactly how I'd do it, but I have a real good idea of how you'd build him from where his current character is, which is wonderful, to where he needs to be in 9 months to 15 months as the champion. And when he's the champion, what I will tell you is he has to be face, but he has to build a heel, and at the very last moment, he's a face, and then that's where you get the gratification. Because the fan, they want him to be a face, get that belt, but then you don't give it to him, and then you finally give it to him, and then you have that enormous pop. Christopher Daniels is, again, that would be my first angle, would be building Christopher Daniels towards the belt. Of course, there would be belt angles before that, but that would be my first big deal there. Christy Hemme, I keep her. Starting to hit the wall, though, to be quite honest. She's got another 2 years tops, I think, in that position. But I think she does a good job. But, things aren't like they are on TV. Sorry about it, but should probably have 2 years at the most. Crimson, I have no idea why they pushed him so hard when they brought him in. The guy had like the build of Alex Wright, and they tried to act like he was the size of Hulk Hogan. So I never understood that one at all. I think you could keep him there and do a little bit of something with him, but not too much. Doug Williams, I don't know why he isn't on TV all the time. He is, psychology-wise, the best talent they have there. He's outstanding. He's the kind of guy you kind of keep that TV. He's like a TV champion guy. He's like an Arn Anderson. I don't know why he isn't on TV all the time. Eric Young, maybe the most entertaining guy on their program. I try to get him on TV as much as I can. I try to do as much as I can with him. I love watching Eric Young matches. He's great. Absolutely great. Gail Kim, I think I keep her there, but she's never going to be featured again. I think she's one of the most overrated female talents out there. Garrett Bischoff, I don't fire him the second I take the book over, but we're going to get rid of Eric Bischoff, but we're going to do horrible, horrible things to him first. Because, let's face it, he's done horrible things to each of us by forcing us to watch him on television. This guy made David Flair matches look passable, and that is saying something. He's horrible. I mean, just horrible. Garrett Bischoff, you should be ashamed of yourself for making us watch you on TV. You suck. God. I mean, if you can sit through a Garrett Bischoff match and be entertained, you and I do not have similar views on what professional wrestling is. I think he is the worst talent, at the very least, since David Flair, if not worse than David Flair. He's bad. He's very, very bad. And maybe one day he'll be slightly better, but I don't ever see money in him. I see nothing special outside of the Bischoff name on him. But I think you do something. You can do something with him for a short term, but then you got to get rid of him, though. He almost makes the product look like flimsy. I don't want to use the word phony, but you can't even begin to believe a match he's in. It's ridiculous. Gunner, I think you keep him, but he's a guy that's never going to be like a main event or anything. Hector Guerrero, I'd probably keep him on the announced team there. Hernandez, we already said we're going to keep him. Hulk Hogan, very short. We do a very short deal with him, and then he's gone. He's been there long enough. They've gotten every value they can out of him. I think coming in, you could put a quick creative angle together with him to run for maybe a year, maybe 8 months, and then he's out. And I think you might like they did at the beginning. You might circle some more of his old cronies in there and have like a Hogan power struggle where you're trying to struggle with somebody and he's bringing these other guys in, and you get some paydays on those guys, get some new guys in. Because if you can get a guy in for just a few shots, but the people know him, that's a great way to do it. Because you're like, oh, I don't want to see the Nasty Boys, but you watch one Nasty Boys match, you might watch two, right? You might watch Brutus Beefcake or somebody come in just for a minute. Maybe their match isn't going to be much, but it keeps things fresh. Now, no way am I saying sign them up to a contract and keep them there for a while, but you can do something on a short term like that. James Storm I keep there. I think there's a good push in him, but a lot of times he says the wrong thing on the mic. Like he works, a lot of his mic work is too heelish. Like he comes off too much like a pussy sometimes, and that's not a good thing for a babyface to do. So maybe the better money is flipping him into like a chicken shit heel, because they don't really have one of those. Like a straight up chicken shit heel. I think that's maybe what I do with James Storm, because I think that might be more his real personality. I'm gonna go home. My kid. No one cares about that, man. You get it there and wrestle. Jeff Hardy, you got to keep him, even though he's probably dangerous in the ring. He's probably the most over guy they have in TNA. The fans love him. Jeremy Borash, I know he does a lot of things backstage, and he's kind of a utility guy, so you keep him there, I guess. Jesse Sorensen, I don't know, maybe he got hurt for real. I guess that wasn't to work, that whole deal, because he hadn't been back, and he's still on the roster, which makes you think they're still paying him. But I guess you get rid of him as soon as you could. That Jesse Gutierrez, I don't know, he's some reality show guy. He got a really good build, but he's small. Maybe you use him for a few more shots and get rid of him. I think Joey Ryan is very good. He has, again, a curse of being a little guy. He's too small. If Joey Ryan was like 6'2", 235 pounds, even 6 foot tall, 230 pounds, I think he would have been. I think he might have even been a maybe a world champion level guy, but he's too small to go that high. But maybe you could work him like a TV belt type level of guy. I definitely keep him. He's the only gut check guy other than Christian York that would be kept. All the rest of them are getting axed. Kazarian, I think I'd keep with Daniels for a while, but I think he'd be a limited shelf life guy, maybe 2 years. You work him up with Daniels while he's getting the deal as heels, and then when he embraces the fans, Kazarian comes out has a problem with it on the next show, and then they slowly come to a feud. Then you get rid of him. King Mo, that's a really stupid idea. Don't sign MMA fighters to be pro wrestlers if they're not going to be pro wrestlers. If he's going to be a straight pro wrestler, well, that's one thing. But you can't do both. You just can't. Both of them becoming a pro wrestler takes a lot of time, and training to be a mixed martial arts guy takes a lot of time. Having a legit badass background is helpful to a guy, but yeah. Kenny King, I keep him. I like to see where he's going. He was pretty good in ROH. Maybe he's got he hasn't really transferred to TNA very well yet so far. Like he's kind of I don't really care when I see Kenny King, but I'd go with him a little bit longer. Kurt Angle, yeah, I mean, you can't get rid of Kurt Angle. He's a guy that should cycle back around though. He's been in TNA long enough. He really ought to go have another run in WWE. That would be the best thing, but if you have Kurt Angle on a contract, you're not letting him go. You want to keep Kurt Angle. Madison Rayne, you keep her. She's very fluid. She keeps in her character. Her in-ring work looks pretty good. Magnus, they haven't been doing much with him since the Samoa Joe deal. I don't know if he's been hurt or something, but he's got a good upside, good build, fairly big for nowadays. And TNA is a monster. That's sad, but he was a guy who looks like a pro wrestler, which a lot of the TNA guys don't. So we definitely keep Magnus. Matt Morgan, we keep him, but I don't know. I'd probably try to give Morgan a very solid, very fair, very good push and see if he could get over, because he's never gotten over. If he could get over, or if he could get heat, depending if he's a good guy or a bad guy. We keep him. If he can't, he's gone. But I'd probably give him a fair, year-long shake of a good push, and then if he can't do it, he's doing jobs for 8 months on his way out. I mean, everybody's beating him because we're going to get that value back out of him. Mickie James, I keep her, but she's already starting to hit the wall. The looks are starting to go sadly because she was one of my favorites. But if you look at like old Mickie James footage, Alexis Laree stuff from before she was in TNA the first time when she was like the Raven, I've been following her career like forever. She's a Virginian like myself, so I've been watching her years before she was in TNA for the first time, and looks wise, she's getting old. It happens. But when women get old in professional wrestling, like it or not, I don't know, say it's sexist or whatever, but they ain't around. Outside of Moolah and Mae Young, they just ain't around. Mike Tenay, I think you keep him. But we'll talk about the announced team as we continue to go through here. Brooke Tessmacher, I hate her voice. Like she has like a manly sounding voice. I just hate it. I think I might have to get rid of her. I don't see her ring work isn't particularly good. She's pretty, but there's a lot of pretty girls out there. She doesn't really have much going on. I don't think. I think you probably get rid of her. I guess you job her a couple times and get her on out of there. Mr. Anderson, you definitely keep him. I think there's a lot you can do with him. He's been misused, misbooked in TNA a lot. He's been really misused. But figure out an angle for him, figure out a program, keep him going. ODB, the best female talent on the planet today. She's amazing. She's my second favorite female wrestler of all time behind Lita, who was amazing. But ODB, it's a shame they haven't done more with her. I'd get another girl really hot, really going, really running hard, and I'd get ODB right with her and build them. Kind of like that old Trish Lita thing where they're continuously rivals, up to the point where you can actually have the main event of a show. They get so hot. ODB is better than the vast majority of male wrestlers. Period. I was going to say on this roster, but period. She is. I'm all about watching an ODB match. She has audibles in the ring. She has a work style that complements her gimmick. She's great. She does a great job. So, the fact they don't do more with her is pathetic. Rob Terry, it looks like they're going to start doing something with him, which is good, because the current gimmick is it's no, not at all. Rob Van Dam, I kind of think he's worn his welcome out in TNA. He's a guy that needs to be cycled out. In fact, I think Rob Van Dam, you get cut. So, Robbie E. Robbie E. we keep, but Jersey Shore is done. So we got to repackage him. And how do we do that? Well, we have him and Rob Terry in a match, and it's hair versus hair. And Robbie E. gets the head shaved, bicked down, and then so we can come out with a new gimmick for him. Now he's pissed off, and we have this pissed off kind of a heel. Give him a darker persona. Maybe you don't want to go quite Johnny Polo to Raven, but I see something like that. See if he can do it, and if he can, keep him around. He is a good worker, and he has a gimmick that he does well. Whether you like the gimmick or not, that doesn't matter. It's can he do it well? But let's see if he can do something else well. And you've immediately repackaged him because you've shaved his head. Oh, my hair's gone. This guy did this to me. Now he's really been wronged, and he's furious about that. But we have him bitch about it for a while, but we don't want to make him too whiny because we want him to be more of a twisted heel. I'd like to see if he can pull that off. It would be an interesting deal. Rockstar Spud. I have no idea who that is. No idea who that is, and I don't know if I want to. Rosita didn't know she was still working there, but she has to go. I mean, wrestlers have to be at least 4 foot tall. Sam Shaw gone. Samoa Joe. I think we cut Samoa Joe. Been there too long. Just not. He has to be booked a certain way, and they haven't booked him that way. And I think it's killed off any chance of being taken seriously as a killer. SoCal Val, you got to cut her. I have no idea what she even is. Why they even have her. I think anybody can take ring jackets, and I don't know, newsflash. Maybe I'm telling you guys something, but SoCal is not hot, and I'll love me to redhead, but she's not hot. Sting. I think you get a few more matches out of him. I think Sting sucks personally. I hate Sting. I call him Stink, but I've always hated Sting. I've probably seen almost every single match Sting's ever had on television. I've probably seen 99% of every Sting match that's ever been on television. We're talking Mid-South, UWF, NWA, WCW, WWE, not WWE, what the hell was it? The World Wrestling All Stars, the one in Australia. I saw all that stuff, just not because Sting, but for other reasons. And this guy, he doesn't. Sting sucks. But I think they got to stop letting the guy freaking win. He needs to be putting people over. He can't even do a damn Scorpion Deathlock anymore. So I want to see him pass the torch, do some jobs, and if he won't, Sting's gone. I see no value in Sting other than just to keep it so you don't know he's doing a job. Maybe he'll win for every 4 losses or something, but that's it. What is it? Taylor Hendricks. She's gone. There's no value in her. Tara, you keep her. She's kind of age defying. She is not a young woman, but she still looks good, and you keep her. Taryn Terrell. I don't know if they're going to turn her into a wrestler or something, but just as a referee, there's not. Come on. You can do a little better than that. Taz gone immediately. He is fired the second I could fire someone. Taz would be the first person I fire. He's a horrible announcer. He may be able to do the technical aspects of the announcing well, but his voice sucks. He's goofy. He just sucks. I can't stand him. I can't stand him at all. The Todd Kinley guy, not terrible, but I would put a wrestler with Mike Tenay. That you can actually have him come in the ring and every once in a while do a match. That's the bad thing about Taz. He couldn't do a match anymore. So what value does he have? I don't have a guy that can get up and go, oh no, what's happening down there is a travesty. And I think it works better when you have a guy who was predominantly a heel. And he's like, no, that's just too far for me. And he runs down and he gets involved. And then you're off kicking with a match. And the people want to see him because that guy is over like hell. He's the announcer. He's got more mic time than anybody. So, you're kind of cutting yourself off at the knees. And TNA can't afford to do that. Who would I pick off the top of my head? I don't know. But Velvet Sky, keep her for the entrance. She's the best looking of the knockouts. But again, she's starting to hit the wall too. She's got a couple more years. But after her goes, she's done. Because her in-ring work is pathetic. I don't know if her and Garrett Bischoff should be a tag team, but she is bad. Wes Briscoe, and Velvet Sky. Another thing I got to say about her, she cuts the most heelish promos I have ever heard. And not in, I'm going to stomp you and destroy you, like, people are against me. Oh, that was so rough for me. You're not getting over. You're not making me like you. You're making me want to come in the ring and bully you. I mean, it's ridiculous. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to see somebody whining and bitching. That's not a face promo. That's not. I don't want to hear about that. Your Christina Aguilera experience. I want to be able to get behind you. The face is supposed to be someone that you want to be. That's the whole idea of it. You want to be this person. The heel is a person that you can't stand. And when you act in a way people can't stand, you're acting heelish. When you're supposed to be a face, it's not good. So she's again with like James Storm. In fact, maybe you put them together as a faction. Another thing they don't do in TNA. The girls and guys need to be way more intermixed. Have relationships. Have, oh, this is my friend. I value for him. Plus I wrestle. You're getting the girls way more spotlight with that than just being wrestlers. So Velvet Sky, I probably put with James Storm, make them a whiny heel faction, and I think you might actually have a little money in them that way. We're whiny heels. We don't have to put up with the same thing the rest of you do. Wes Briscoe, I haven't really seen him. I think he's the Aces and Eights guy, but let's see. Zema Ion, I could go either way on him, so I think we'll keep him for the moment. Yeah, so that's what we're doing with TNA. That's who we're getting rid of, and we're going to bring in some new guys with that. Of course, we're also keeping Devon. So let me know who you get rid of on the TNA roster.